we go. It is Chicken Dinner, the 13th time we've been live with you on a Thursday night, and some breaking news heading into a big one on Thursday Night Football between the Rams and the Niners. How about this? According to Ian Rappaport, good news for the 49ers. Running back Isaac Guerendo will play. DN Nick Bosa will play, and linebacker Dre Greenlaw will also play against the LA Rams. Let's also remember this. San Francisco got Hufanga, their stud safety, back last week. So that is a huge boon for that defense. And as you know, when news breaks, this market tends to move a bit. And a lot of these 2.5s right here on the Odds Logic screen are getting moved right now. There goes Pinnacle to -2.5, 121. Superbook, a juice 2.5. DraftKings back to 3. A lot of 3 offshore. 411 Buckeye and Bet Online. So that is huge news. Again, here's the tweet from Rappaport. Good news for 49ers. Guerendo, Bosa, and Dre Greenlaw are all in. Lots of talk about Trent Williams not playing. The offense looked pretty decent last week against a Bears D that is not awful. I think we'll learn a lot about them on Monday night because without Matt Eberflus in that game, defense was problematic, and it looked like the attention to detail was not exactly there. We'll see what happens on Monday night, but the game of the night in the NFL, again, moving right now to San Francisco, and this was an interesting line early in the week to pay attention to as we shared the screen again on Odds Logic. Superbook always opens NFL first. They do the look-ahead number, then they reopen the market first. And when they put this thing up initially, of course, it's not going to click now. So that's wonderful. I remember them opening it, though, closer to 2.5. And then the early Rams money came in and knocked it down to 1.5. It has since been slowly built back up rest of the week to 2 to 2.5 to 3. And, of course, Odds Logic is going to betray me right now. Let me give you the guest list on today's show. Nick Kostos will join us from You Better You Bet, my teammate at Odyssey on the BetQL Network. That'll be 7:15. You can listen to Nick. He's the host of You Better You Bet, Monday to Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. And also we work together on Sunday mornings at 11 o'clock Eastern. Big Ramley guy, Nick Kostos. That much is very obvious. He's a guy who has been sort of rowing the boat back and forth. His co-host, Femi Abebefe, he's been the guy with 10 toes down. He's been Ramley all year. Those guys have a bunch of futures, NFC West. I think they bet him at 8 or 9 to 1. I hope the Rams go in the coffin tonight, though. Not going to lie. I just think that is an average football team. Yes, they're getting healthier on offense, but I think their defense is a problem. Bottom 10 in defense. And I bet a little. I can't tell you to do it now because on the morning show on Tuesday, we were talking about betting San Francisco -130, -135. Now, that number is long gone. It's 150, 155. So Nick and I will have a nice friendly debate about San Francisco and Los Angeles. We'll do that at 7:15. At 7:35, Tommy Lorenzo, very sharp professional bettor based out of the West Coast. He's been going to Vegas for 30-some years now. Tom is also the host of Cover the Weekend, great sports betting podcast. So he'll join us at 7:35. And if you realized it or not, hockey season is in full swing. I know a lot of us in the content space are so consumed by football. College football, pro football, college basketball. After Feast Week, that was a really nice week for a lot of us here on Chicken Dinner. NHL, not going to lie, I'm behind. So we go to our hockey guy, Alex Smith. That'll be at 7:45. Alex Smith, host of the Ice Guy Show. Him and Ian Cameron do a bang-up job talking about the NHL. All right, we got some comments here. Brewhand Luke. First, per usual, smash the like button. Thank you, Luke. There's our guest at 7:45, Alex B. Smith. How about Cherizi E? Watching on my flight to Vegas. If these aren't all winners, I'm going to light up your DMs. I'm used to it at this point. And my buddy Rob, hashtag Bach, free world Ram with a yawn emoji. It sort of feels that way. We were seeing more and more bets come in on the Rams, and yet the price is going closer to 3. So we shall see. I also think it's worth paying attention to what George Kittle has done against the Rams. Now, a lot of these games were when San Francisco was shorthanded. And they've been shorthanded quite a bit since Kittle joined the team in 2017. But when shorthanded, no McCaffrey. Well, McCaffrey wasn't there the whole time, but they've had guys. Deebo Samuel's been in and out of the lineup for years. A lot of the receivers have been banged up. Ayuk has been out for a long time this year. Here's some of the games Kittle has had against the Rams. And it's not that because he did it in the past, he'll do it tonight, but we know the drill with San Fran, shorthanded. No McCaffrey, no Ayuk. Deebo's been talking shit, not getting the ball. Do they fix that? Maybe, but Deebo's also been dropping the football. Kittle's been over-reliable, and he was against Chicago. But here are some of the meetings against San Francisco. 6 targets, 4 catches, 100 yards. 8 targets, 5 catches, 98 yards, and a touchdown. 14 targets, 9 catches, $149, and a touchdown. 8 catches, 103 yards on 8 targets, by the way. 8 targets, 5 catches, 79 yards. 10 targets, 7 catches, 109, and a touchdown. Now, there are some games. You have to paint the whole picture. This is not a trend segment where we ignore the bad games. He's had some games, 5 catches for 50, 5 for 10, 2 for 24, 3 for 39, 3 for 30. Those were mostly the last year or two, though, and that's when the Niners have been mostly healthy. You go to those games in 17, 18, 19, and 20, they didn't have all that help. Didn't have all these weapons on offense. And you don't have all these weapons tonight. Multiple guys, again, out of that lineup for San Francisco. So Kittle will be a popular guy tonight. And I saw that his receiving prop has been bet up. People are betting it all day long. The touchdown prop is still plus 150. I don't hate that, but there are still some places that have George Kittle to catch over 4.5 passes about even money. I don't think that's the worst idea. I have no idea how many yards. Touchdown bets are dice rolls, but I think Kittle gets involved. And I also think that this Rams defense is going to have a hard time stopping the running game. It's a defense that has been tested a lot all year. And let's also remember they did get walked up and down the field in the entire second half. Now, Josh Allen's the MVP of the league, but this San Fran team can move the ball. And you're starting to see reinforcements back on that defense. Maybe we actually see the Rams go 3-and-out a couple of times tonight. But that's your current check on the market. Let's call it Niners -3 and the total of 49. I don't know if I'll be able to share my screen during this show, but I want to say we should be very, very careful with this Army-Navy total. A lot of people every year look at the game and go, I like the under, because it always goes under. And I told the story last year of how I was on that bus. There were a bunch of Chicago guys. Matt Evans put a group together, came out to Boston. It was like 25 guys from the south side of Chicago to go to Army-Navy, which was in Foxborough. And I'll never forget being on that bus ride. And again, I'm watching these markets all week long, not just Saturday and Sunday, day of the game. I'm watching them from Sunday before all the way to the weekend. And if you remember that total last year between Army and Navy, it opened like 34, 33.5 at a couple places. Well, that thing got bet down all the way day of the game to 27.5. And on that bus, people start drinking, pounding beers. I had the Jameson. Everybody's getting to know each other. And the common sentiment on that bus is, gotta bet the under. It's Army-Navy. And then I had to explain that the total was 33.5. Now it's 27.5. What we should do is bet the first quarter under 6.5. And that was a sweat and a half. This total is 10 points higher than it was last year. 10 points. And a lot of people are already starting to say, oh, that's a big number. Got to go under. Be careful. This Army team is going to score in this game. And Bryson Daly is one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the country. Now, the number, as you know, is very important. 39, I don't love. That's 24-14. You have to think about these numbers in terms of possible landing numbers. And this did get down to 37.5 on Wednesday. Then it got bet back up. Blasted at 38, blasted out to 39. The first half number, though, still very attainable, 19.5. So 20 is a winner. 21's a winner. Obviously, anything higher than that's a winner. But I'd hate to play over 39 and have this thing land 38. Why do I just feel like 24-14 is so freaking possible between Army and Navy? And I don't know where the number's going to go. I mean, historically, we've seen this thing come down throughout the course of the week. Odds Logic is completely down right now. Perfect timing for Odds Logic. I don't know that we get that push on the total. I don't think it's going to go down to 37. It doesn't feel like that type of game. And it doesn't feel like that type of market. But just be careful when you see this Army-Navy total and you're going to see the trends on the screen and you're going to read the stuff on social media. It's gone under in 17 of the last 20 years. Yeah, the teams know each other well. Yeah, these offenses know each other well. They see a lot of these offensive schematics in practice. But you still have an Army team that's going to be able to throw the football and a Navy defense that's good, but against every decent opponent has been giving up yards. Let's see. Hi, DC agent. Great variety. Thanks, Sam. Well, we'll see about that. I got a long way to go. Let's see. What else? Oh, geez. I did a bad thing. SEC social media, very upset at me. I bet Notre Dame to win the national title. I know. Notre Dame stinks. Everybody knows it. I got a guy from Georgia with a Georgia jersey leaning on the General Lee in his profile picture telling me I'm soft and Notre Dame is soft. Yes, no bias is there. Look, this bracket for Notre Dame is as, what's the term? Not easy, because facing Georgia is not easy. It's as friendly as possible. So the 5 best teams in the country per most people's power ratings are Oregon, Georgia, Texas, Ohio State, Tennessee. Those are the top 5. Ask any odds maker, bookmaker in Vegas. Those are the 5. Again, Oregon, Georgia, Texas, Ohio State, Tennessee. 4 of them are on the top of the bracket. So if you look at Notre Dame's path, they're an 8-point favorite at home against Indiana. And I just believe in Notre Dame's O-line and D-line and the running game. And Riley Leonard has gotten so much better. And yeah, they lost to Northern. No shit. Everybody knows that. It also doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they lost in September to Northern. They beat Indiana. Let's assume that. Then they get Georgia. And there's a lot of talk now about how Gunnar Stockton is better than Carson Beck, or there isn't much of a drop-off. And I don't know that that's fair. Now, Georgia's going to run the ball a lot. At least try to. I don't know that you can be one-dimensional, though, against Notre Dame's defense. So the bet was made. We bet 10-1. Best price available now. Let's see what the price is. You can get a plus 850, which, is not obviously as great as 10-1 was. Let's see if I can share this one. All right, we can't share this. So Prop Shop has 365. You have an account there. You can get plus 850. 8-1 at DraftKings, 8-1 at MGM, 750 at Caesars, and 7-1 at FanDuel. Obviously, do not love those prices as much as I did at 10-1. But to me, the handicap was simple. You beat Indiana, and you have a puncher's chance against Georgia. And did you notice some of these books put up a look-ahead number, a preview number on Notre Dame and Georgia? It's Notre Dame favored, minus 2.5. Favored against the mighty SEC and the mighty Georgia. Just be careful with that. And the last thing here, YouTube TV is raising its prices from $72.99 a month to $82.99 a month. I know that might not sound like a lot of money, but how much do we pay for live sports now? And even if you cut the cable or cut the cord, you got to pay for all this stuff. You got to pay for now YouTube TV an extra $10. You got to have Peacock and Peacock Premium. You got to have Netflix. You got to have Amazon Prime. If you're a baseball person, extra innings. If you're a basketball guy, League Pass. Luckily, the hockey's on ESPN Plus, which is another platform you need. But we were supposed to save money by cutting the cord. And now we got to pay $10 more a month to watch YouTube TV, which does a good job of giving you all the sports and all that. That sucks. It used to be. I remember when YouTube TV was $50 a month. Now it's $82.99. Just lovely. Just lovely. The thing is, they own us. They own our ass because we have to watch sports. That's the one thing about watching sports. Expensive. It's also expensive when you bet on sports. As I welcome Nick Kostos to the show, host of You Better You Bet. Just got off the air at 7 o'clock Eastern. Now Monday to Friday, 3 to 7 with Femi on the BetQL Network and Odyssey. But we work together on Sunday mornings at 11 o'clock Eastern, 11 to 1, getting you ready for kickoff. And I say it this way. You have so much energy, and your ability to know all of these players to bet in the prop market. You do your Prop King segment. You're throwing out guys that are hitting anytime touchdown bets at 9 to 1, last touchdown bets 20 to 1. And I'm grinding minus 110, and you are just firing touchdown bets and hitting them with relative ease. And it makes me think I'm honestly doing it all wrong, buddy. Welcome to the show.
Always great to be on with you, my friend. Yeah, it's great when those hit. It's terrible when you bet a guy at 19 to 1 and he gets 0 targets in the game and doesn't touch the ball. But when they score, it's obviously awesome. And we've got one of them tonight, by the way.
Oh,
I got a 19 to 1 tonight.
Who is it?
So it's really funny, right? Because talk about like sandwich spots sometimes in betting. Last week would have been the sandwich for our Hunter Hurst Long played the game with the LA Rams. So Rams, Tyler Higbee's going to be back next week. Remember Tyler Higbee, Rams starting tight end for a long time?
Former Falcon, maybe?
I think a Ram. I think a Ram for Tyler Higbee.
See, so this is why I'm not good with this.
So he got hurt. You're very good at other. You know, like I grind this stuff so you can grind the other, like the important stuff. So Higbee got hurt at the end of last year. Hasn't played yet this season. The Rams signed Colby Parkinson away from Seattle. So Higbee is going to be back next week. We think he almost was ready for this game tonight. So the Rams will still have their 3 tight end rotation of Parkinson, Davis Allen, second-year player, and Hunter Long. Allen's not 100%, was questionable on the injury report. He's going to play. Parkinson's the guy that's most likely to get the ball. But again, we saw Long scored a touchdown last week in the Rams-Bills game. We bet him 2 weeks ago, he didn't score. Last week, we didn't bet him, he did. So tonight, if all 3 Rams tight ends can touch the ball, Parkinson has the shortest odds, followed by Allen, and Allen's not 100%. I think Long's worth a sprinkle. Not a huge bet. I always say beer or pizza money on these at 19 to 1. Hunter Long, my anytime touchdown bet for tonight with the Rams and the Niners.
How many snaps is he going to play? How many do you expect?
Well, I could tell you, because Nathan, I want to give a shout out to Nathan Yankee of Pro Football Focus, who I always try and promote his work because he does amazing work, and I sub to Pro Football Focus, and he does amazing work like tracking all this stuff. So last week, I can tell people, I'm looking it up right now. So last week against the Buffalo Bills, Hunter Long played, let's see, I'm on the Bills here. Hunter Long played 18 snaps last week.
Oh.
Three targets at 3 routes run, had a target. Davis Allen, 22 snaps run, 0 targets. And Allen is a shorter price than Hunter Long is. So again, he's 19 to 1 for a reason, but I think more likely to score given the setup of tonight's game and Allen not being 100% healthy than he might be normally otherwise.
According to the prop shop, Hunter Long is 28 to 1 at FanDuel. So if you have a FanDuel account, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Which I don't. I'm a BetMGM guy. I only bet at BetMGM.
So am I. Oh, wow. Well, you're better than me, buddy. More loyal than I am. That's why you're the king. 28 to 1 at FanDuel, and then the floor 18 to 1 at a couple shops, and Nick's saying 19 to 1 at BetMGM. I'm sure you took a breath after your show, which you do again Monday to Friday.
I ate some beef stew. I kissed my daughter on the head and I ate some beef stew. And then I came down to do this with you. So it was like a brief respite. And it was really nice, actually.
Did you see the report about how healthy the Niners are getting tonight?
I did. We did it at the end of the show. So Nick Bosa is going to play. Isaac Guerrero is going to play. I don't think there's no way he's 100%. We shot him up with some Toradol, obviously. Dre Greenlaw going to make a season debut. Really good linebacker for the Niners. But I don't think the expectation is he's going to play a full complement of snaps tonight. Trent Williams being out is still a massive deal. Like the Niners' future first ballot Hall of Fame, all-world left tackle out tonight, protecting the blind side for Brock Purdy. And look, like I like the Rams a little bit in the game at 3. Like I need a full 3 to make the bet. It's not my favorite bet, but I do think that this defense is not going to be what we saw from the Bears last week, where, Sam, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I mean it. Matt Eberflus was obviously a terrible head coach. It looked like the Bears defense missed him last week, like making the defensive calls at least. Got shredded by the Niners. I don't anticipate it being that easy of a game for Brock Purdy this week. That was like 7-on-7 last week. And the Rams do have some good edge rushers. Obviously, the favorite for defensive rookie of the year, Jared Verse, and his teammate Braden Fisk last year playing at Florida State. So I do think Trent Williams being out matters. Bosa obviously helps a lot. At 3, It's a bet for me on the Rams. Not a huge bet. I'm already invested on the Rams to win the division. I want them to win the game tonight. Rams +3 is my preferred bet in tonight's game.
I think it's so funny how this beef, and I'll put beef in quotation marks because we love each other. We've known each other 10 years now. It's very funny, though, the divide between our show, anti-Rams, your show, very pro-Rams, and you guys, at the end of the day, as much as I want the Rams to miss the playoffs, you guys got a really good bet on them. I believe you and Femi got either 8 or 9 to 1 to win the West.
Well,
correct?
I have +950, and Femi definitely has a price better than that. Definitely.
Wow. Okay.
Because he was in
and I was
before
saying
me.
they were dead. Like week 3, I was saying they're dead. And that was obviously incorrect because they're very much alive, as you know. I don't think that they're consistent enough to put 2 A games back to back. Like they played the game of their season against Buffalo, and I bet against it. I did bet San Fran -130, -135 the other day. And if you bet 3, we could technically win both if it lands 1 or 2. I've seen it all season. They go up, they go down. They go up, they go down. That has to be something you've noticed as well.
Definitely. And look, like to your credit, like you laid -125, 130. Now it's -150.
Yeah.
And I've kind of been the opposite way. I've been waiting for the 3 all week. And right now, like BetMGM has a 3 -15. So I'm going to end up betting this. I'm going to bet a little on the Rams here. Look, like you're right about the Rams. And the thing that kind of makes me a little nervous about them, and look, like I think they could win the division. Certainly. I think if they win this game tonight, I think we'll almost certainly get Sunday Night Football, Week 18, final regular season game of the year, Rams versus Seahawks in Los Angeles for the NFC West Championship. I think we'll almost certainly get that. But the game that I keep coming back to, because like, look, like I can kind of toot my own horn, like, oh, I love the Rams here. They beat the Bills last week. They also, a couple weeks ago on a nationally televised game, got throttled at home by the Eagles, and we bet the Eagles in that game. I bet against the Rams in that game. I liked Philadelphia. Now, you could say the Rams offensive line is fully healthy. Stafford's been going nuclear recently. Sure. But also against one of like the heavyweights, they got absolutely trucked by the Eagles. So I think we'll learn a lot tonight, Sam, about the LA Rams, who could still make the playoffs and win the division, obviously, even if they lose tonight's game. But I think if the Rams are who I and some people think they could be, I think they go out there and they beat the 49ers tonight, or at the very least push or cover the spread. We'll see.
Yeah, I know sharp guys on both sides. We shall see. It's a Thursday night game. A lot of wonky shit happens on Thursday night. I just wanted to showcase one more time the range of prices on the money line, and then I want to get to a couple other bets you like, and then get you the hell out of here. But just if you're watching right now on YouTube or X live, you can see all the different prices on the San Francisco money line. And DraftKings just got bet again to -148. That was 145 about 3 seconds ago. There is a huge gap, and this is why it's so important to understand these books and understand the range and price. So the floor of the market, at least for the outs that I like to see and I like to track, BetMGM has -150. Now, 2 cents cheaper down the street at DraftKings, but BetMGM, as we know, is a much better sports book. But look at the height of the market. 160s at Circa and Superbook, 165s offshore. If you're laying 165, I don't know what to tell you. As we see live, DraftKings go down to -142. So that is the cheapest money line price in the world. It is very, very important. And then if you're looking to bet Rams like Nick is, now Nick wants 3, but if you're looking for a money line pop on LA, why would you bet 125, 130 when you can get 140, 143, 145? Price is so sensitive, and it's very important to understand where these markets are, where they were, and where they could go. We got 5 minutes left, and then Tommy Lorenzo is going to join us from Cover the Weekend. It's early. It's only Thursday. I know you've been talking these games all week, though, in terms of NFL sides, totals, props. Where do you want to go next? Anything you know you're going to bet or you already have bet?
Oh, yeah. Well, of course. Little insulted by the question. Yeah, like I like tonight's game a little bit. So being candid, if Rams Niners is like, I don't know if people know this yet. We've talked about it a lot on the show. The 4:25 Eastern slot this week in the NFL is the best of the season. There's 5 games. Only one doesn't matter. And even it does a little bit with Arizona and New England with the Cardinals trying to get into the playoffs. All the other games have some kind of playoff implication, right? If Rams Niners were on in that slate, I probably wouldn't bet it. Like the reason why I'm going to bet the game and take the Rams is because it's the Island game tonight. I'm being honest. Like I just want to have some action on the game. I like a lot of games this weekend more. So Sam, we can roll through a couple of them here. I laid 7 with the Commanders earlier in the week. We're close to being there right now at BetMGM. I'm seeing 7.5 minus 0.5 for the Commanders.
Yep.
I think 7 should be the number if Derek Carr's the quarterback, and Carr's not going to be the quarterback. So this was just announced like a couple minutes ago. Darren Rizzi, the Rizzler, Saints interim head coach, announced Jake Haener, the former Fresno State quarterback, is starting for New Orleans this weekend. So it's not Spencer Rattler. Jake Haener is going to start. I think the number's short at 7. I love the Commanders laying 7. Washington coming off the bye on the road at New Orleans. I love the Jaguars plus 3.5 at home against the Jets. So I bet the Jets last week plus 6.5 early in the week. Was lucky to fall inside that number. They lost by 6. I also bet the Jaguars last week plus 3.5. Sounds I'm patting myself on the back here. I did not a bad week last week. Took Jaguars plus 3.5 against Tennessee. I thought the Jets were too big of a dog. I thought no way Jacksonville could be that big of a dog against Will Levis. And now I think this point spread's nuts. Aaron Rodgers laying 3.5 on the road against any team not named the Giants. Like there's no way, no way I make this spread like short of 3. So Jaguars plus 3.5 is a bet that I absolutely love. Jaguars plus 3.5. I bet Houston at a number that doesn't exist anymore. We might get there. I laid, I think 2 on Sunday night, and this was 2.5 on Monday morning. Now we're 3 minus 0.5. So the 3 is juiced towards Miami. I'm not really that impressed with what I've seen the last couple of weeks from the Dolphins. I think the Texans come out of the bye and play better football. Houston, short of 3, Sam, I like a lot against the Miami Dolphins coming up on Sunday. So the 3 of my favorite bets coming up for week 15.
I wanted to show a couple more comments here. Jeremy's with you. Loves the Rams
Jeremy,
plus the 3.
Let's go.
So you are riding with
Love your
Team
teasers,
Kostos.
Jeremy.
Jeremy Wong, indeed. John Massey, friend of the show. Still surprised the total is above the open of 47. Yeah, 49 right now at BetMGM. Still taking that game day over money as we are about 45 minutes off.
But I don't disagree with that move. And I'm not saying that I love the over here, but I mean, the Rams are susceptible defense to giving up the big play. Like we know San Francisco can obviously do that. And Stafford's been great. So John, like I'm not saying I'm not betting the over, but I'm not surprised that this total got bet up.
And you're on Jacksonville, correct?
I'm on the Jaguars on Sunday, correct, against the Jets.
Doghouse Riley. Love the Jets plus 3. I love when people are heads up and can just argue like old friends.
Yeah. So Riley, what I would say is like I have Jacksonville plus 3.5. You have Jets minus 3. How about you push and I win? How's that sound?
I'm going to leave you with one thing. And this is not from our bosses who also love this bit. I get more reaction now on Sundays from our Al Michaels bits that we do. For those that haven't heard it yet, when I was in college, my co-host Sugar Shane Reynolds put me onto this, and he's even better at it than I could ever wish to be. His Al Michaels is impeccable.
Yours is I have not heard Shane Reynolds, so like no disrespect to him. Yours is outstanding, and if you'd like, I'd love to talk about this also. If you're going to give me a couple seconds here,
I will. I'm going to bring Tommy Lorenzo in here as well from Cover the Weekend. Tommy's been watching NFL. Watching ball a long time. Tommy, Nick and I on Sunday, we have this new thing where we mimic Al Michaels.
Nick, what's up, brother?
How you doing?
And the template, which we found out, my college radio host and I, many, many years ago, is that Al Michaels in his prime, when he still had his fastball, there was a touchdown template. And it was very simple. The template is, and it's blank. And then he always elongates the name. So it would be, Green Bay's playing, Favre throws the ball, caught at the 20, and it's Donald Driver. It's very, very simple format, and it's blank. And Nick thinks it's like the funniest thing ever, and I don't even think it's that funny.
Okay, well, first off, like it is, and I'll say this, and Sam's bartender bit that he does also. So, look, you do what we do for a living. You got to have some type of ego. I think I'm really good at this. I think I got a good sense of humor. I think I'm a really good host.
Mhm.
It actually gets under my skin and bothers me when peers of mine, even worse when it's friends of mine like Sam. It's even worse when friends of mine come up with bits and things that I hear and see and think, damn it, this is so good. Why didn't I come up with it? So the bartender bit is it's one of those things that's so outstanding and like transcends like what we do. How could you not love that bit? It's so good that I wish I had come up with it. And the Al Michaels bit, like, man, I've been watching football since 1990. I have right here. Is it here? Yeah, hold on one second.
He's a fellow Giants fan.
So right here, I
It's
have.
got to be a Giants VHS.
This is Super Bowl 25 on VHS. So this is Giants over Bills, January 27th, 1991. I have it as part of my backdrop here. So this is the first Super Bowl that I remember watching Super Bowl 24, which is Niners 55, Broncos 10 in New Orleans. But at Super Bowl 25, as a Giants fan, watching this game with my family, remember 7 years old, being so nervous during this game, watching the whole thing. Al Michaels called this game. So I've been watching Al for 35 years. And the fact that it never struck me, I think I'm a pretty sharp guy. I'm not even talking betting wise, just like intellect wise. I mean, I'm pretty smart. The fact that it never struck me that he does this it's like mind numbing to me. So when Sam did this on the show a couple weeks ago, I don't like laugh out loud, belly laugh like uncontrollably that often. When Sam does this bit, I lose it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Like, from whatever it's worth for me, 10 out of 10 marks for you for the bartender and the Al Michaels bit. I think both are incredible.
I'm blushing. But Tommy, we start throwing random guys out, and it's Bernard Berrien.
Dude, the best one is who's Amon Ra's brother?
Oh yeah, and it's Equanimous St. Brown.
I'm gonna age myself because I used to watch Al Michaels doing baseball games. That's how old I am.
Yeah, man.
I don't remember when guys hit home runs if he used that same bit too, but he probably did.
That's awesome.
I don't know.
Would it be? And it's Don Mattingly.
Well, for you, Nick, I'm going to let you go here. The host of You Better You Bet, Monday through Friday on BetQL on the Odyssey app, 3 to 7 p.m. Eastern with Femi Abebefe. I hope tonight you get and it's Hunter Long at 19-1.
You know what I'm hoping for, Sammy, tonight? We are Ramily.
Oh, cut the shit. Get out.
Tommy, good to see you, buddy. Have a great rest of your show. Thanks for having me.
Go Giants in 2025, brother.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
See you, buddy.
All right,
Nick Kostos joining us now. Tommy, I did actually want to ask you about your season, and I know you've done very well in the NFL for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
I still am struggling this season, and I put my picks up on Chicken Dinner before the show started, and I'm as transparent as it can be. In college and pro football, I'm 54-54 this year. It's been a weird season, and then I'm reminded that a guy in the bartender who was 11-23-20, 24-27-21, 16-24-22, and 29-33 last year is 26-18 this year. This is probably going to be his first winning season. And we talked to a lot of the same guys: John Murray from the Westgate, Chris Bennett at Circa, Tony Miller at the Golden Nugget, guys all over town, Chris Andrews, South Point. They're all saying the same thing. We're getting destroyed most weekends in the NFL. How have you navigated that this year with a lot of these sharp sides not getting home?
Yeah, the year of the square, I guess, because you're right. This has been a strange year. I was coming into this year so confident, especially after the last couple of seasons and last season, NFL-wise, did so well. But playing catch-up now, things have gotten a little better over the last couple of weeks. But, yeah, no, it's been a struggle. And there's always things you check off to make the sharp play, betting splits and, teams that are undervalued or recency bias, things like that. But it seems like this year things haven't fallen into place like they have in the past. So, what I do just from a money management standpoint, I kind of pump the brakes a little bit in terms of, quantity of games and the amount. If it's not there and it's a little cold, I kind of, downshift a little bit. And it's worked this year because when I downshift, I just try to focus on a couple of games, and that's worked out well the last few weeks anyway of the NFL season. So I'm hoping to finish strong. But yeah, NFL's been a struggle for me as well.
Here's Tommy's podcast. If you're watching on YouTube and X, it's Covered the Weekend. Please check it out. He does a weekly joint You can find it on Apple. You can find it wherever you consume your podcast. It's Cover the Weekend, a sports betting podcast with Tommy Lorenzo. Did you make any bets yet in the future market for college football? We do have the bracket. We have the 12 teams. We know the top 4 seeds. Did you do anything yet? Will you do anything in the future market in college football?
I may as it goes along. I just did one. The same thing you've done. I got on Notre Dame at 11-1 early on.
Right.
And that number just continues to plunge. I'm a little surprised by that because, frankly, I hear more people saying how soft Notre Dame is. They haven't played anybody. Like you mentioned earlier, oh, they lost to Northern Illinois. They got no business in there losing to a MAC team, stuff like that. So right now I'm steady because I thought the best value on the board was Notre Dame at that number. Not that maybe there wasn't other ones, but just double digits Notre Dame. I had them power ranked highest. So just based on principle, it's like, you know what? I got to put a few bucks down here on the big number. That's it for now. As we go and I'm watching games, and if the numbers are right, obviously I may hop on again. It's what's nice about the 12 team, kind of like March Madness. When you get into the Sweet 16, there's still opportunities there to get good numbers as the field dwindles down. So I'll be getting involved more, but as of right now, just a single ticket because I thought the value was there on the Irish.
The value you can find really anywhere at the bottom of the bracket. And I'll say this again. I said it off the top for those joining us in the last 5 or 10 minutes. We've got about 800 people watching right now live. The top 5 power rated teams in the country per most odds makers: Oregon, Georgia, Texas, Ohio State, Tennessee. So when you look at the bracket and you cut the bracket in half, you've got 4 of those 5 on top. Oregon's the 1, Texas is the 5, and then Ohio State, Tennessee are the 8, 9. The fact that you can avoid all but one of those teams until the end,
right,
is enticing. So whether, for me and Tommy, it's Notre Dame, and I didn't even know you were on Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
You got a better number than I did. You got 11, I got 10. It's now 8 or less, give or take.
Right.
But if you find the value with Penn State, with Boise State, maybe you believe in Georgia. I don't, man. And I had Georgia in that game. I took 3 against Texas. I felt lucky to get out of there alive. And that narrative that Carson Beck blows, there are some truths to that, but that defense came out fired up like they had to win that game, and they carried the mail at the end of the day. I don't know with a full slate, with a full game of Gunnar Stockton, that Georgia is as dangerous as people believe they are. And let's also remember, they never really replaced Brock Bowers or Ladd McConkey. Georgia's a very good football team, but there are no great teams this year.
Yeah, I agree with that. And when you're talking about quarterbacks, to me, it's what I'm looking at. And I think it's going to play out in the college football playoff. When you have a really good defense that can shut down quarterbacks, I think that's going to be the key. That's what I'm looking at. You're looking with Tennessee, when they've played good defenses, the quarterback, I'm not going to say the last name because I never can pronounce it. He's not played well. And a lot of people are, Nico, and a lot Nico from he's a SoCal kid, so love him and everything. But I just think he's going to be up against it because he's going to be facing a good defense in the first game. If he gets to the next round, he's going to be facing another good defense. So I think these defenses are going to play because a couple of these quarterbacks, in my opinion, are shaky. Whether it's the backup at Georgia or you're talking about Will Howard at Ohio State, you saw him against Penn State. They're apt to make mistakes. There's no quarterback in here, maybe Dylan Gabriel, that to me is just, otherworldly and is going to, be Superman and you're going to shoot bullets at him and it's going to bounce off his chest. I think that's going to be the key in the college football playoff. I'm with you with Georgia. I'm not there. And that's another reason why I think if Notre Dame can get by Indiana, which I think they will, I don't know if they'll cover 7.5. There's some sharp books that are now at 7, and I like that number. I don't like the hook with Notre Dame, but I'll take the 7. There's some out there. So, I think Georgia, I'm with you, and that's another reason why I think Notre Dame is a live play, because if they can get by Indiana, which I think they will, I think they're in the look-ahead line. They're about 2.5-point favorites against Georgia.
Right, which was very surprising for a lot of people.
Me too, but I agree. I'm with that. Then it'll get interesting after that, obviously. And if I'm thinking who gets there at the end, I'm thinking Notre Dame, Oregon.
Yeah, I'm looking at the top 5 teams right now. And again, I get power ratings from 3 different people and then sort of put them all together and spit out the median. from the numbers that I aggregated, the top 5 teams are all separated by 4 points or less.
Very tight.
So, 1 to 2 is 2 points. 1 to 5 is 4 points. There's not a big gap. And then I've got Notre Dame. I've got them only 2 points worse than Georgia, but that's with Beck in. So to see them float Notre Dame -2.5, I thought I would not be laying Notre Dame -2.5. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But they can beat Georgia. They could.
Sure. I have them as a pick. I have them virtually even on my power rankings. Yeah, if that line's lower, if I can get a pick them, it ain't going to get there. Yeah, I'm on Notre Dame, or if the money line's right. But, if they beat Indiana and I'm holding that future ticket that I am, I'll just kind of get in the recliner and just, try to see if they can get by Georgia. Then if there's hedging opportunities later, we'll check that out.
But, please. There will. If they beat Georgia, think about what that price does, because you shorten the field down and now, maybe we were all wrong about Notre Dame. To me, it's this simple. Beat Indiana, beat Georgia, you free roll from there. That was my logic.
Same here.
Yeah, and you can still do it. I mean, you could do it, granted, not at a greater price that we did it as, that we did it at, rather. But 8-1 is still not a bad shake. All right, let's look at these 4 first-round games. You got Notre Dame on Friday, 7.5 at home. Then you got Penn State now laying 8.5. SMU. Texas 11.5 on Clemson. That number feels pretty big to me. Yes. And then Ohio State got bet. I know they bet Ohio State 7 out to 7.5 all over Vegas now. You decide. Where do you want to start?
We're talking Notre Dame. We can start Indiana, Notre Dame if you'd like.
Okay.
7 works for me. 7.5 does not. That's sure. I mean, that's how much I love Indiana. One of my biggest season win total overs was on Indiana. Love Cignetti, love everything about it. But 7.5, I think, is a little too much. I think the road ends here for Indiana. It's been great. Really, they barely got by Michigan. And to me, Notre Dame is Michigan with a good offense and a good quarterback. So I do like Notre Dame here to take care of business. But again, if I can get rid of that hook, I'll do it. I know the line's moved at 1 or 2 sharp spots to 7. That works for me. But at 7.5, I'm not going to pull the trigger. But I do like Notre Dame.
Going to drive over to the South Point. I know you. You're going to make that trip from Cali to Vegas, and
it's one of the first
7 -110.
One of the first spots.
Okay, and then 3 games on Saturday. You don't have to talk every game. Just what jumps off and what you'll likely bet if you get involved on Saturday.
Sure. SMU, Penn State. I think people are looking at 2 bad quarters from SMU and writing them off. I think that's a mistake. 8.5 seems a bit too much here. I think getting that many points with SMU will work here. They've been undervalued all year. So, Oregon torched Penn State for almost 500 yards. SMU is not the Oregon defense, but it's a pretty darn good offense. I'm sorry. Not the Oregon video game offense, but a pretty good offense nonetheless. And SMU's defense can play well. I'm hoping that first half against Clemson was just a wake-up call for them, because they woke up and they came roaring back in the second half. So I wouldn't write off SMU. I think a lot's being played into that, bad first half they had against Clemson, and I'm happy to pick up the 8.5 with SMU.
Yeah, and people are going to look at how Penn State played, to your point, and think, oh, they went toe-to-toe with Oregon. But Oregon's defense was not impressive in that game. Now, they're going to need to outscore you to win a title. Mm-hmm. I will throw this at you, too, because we discussed this on the morning show, and I was texting with a couple guys in Vegas who are booking bets, and they're all saying the same thing. They are nervous about this. As I share my screen, this is the BetMGM tab. If you go over to the right side of my screen now and you look at this, this is what they cannot defend, Tommy. The 4-team money line parlay. Right. And I'm not saying do it. I'm not going to, but I know it's going to be popular, and I know sharp people will do it to some extent. Notre Dame, Penn State, Texas, Ohio State. All the favorites just to win. And the payout price at MGM, it's $192. You can get 2-1 at a couple shops. And the problem with that, if you're booking bets, there is no defense against it.
Right.
And it gets even worse. If you get through the first 3, guess what you can do? You can take Tennessee plus 7.5, have Ohio State to win the game, and the Vols plus 7.5.
Yeah.
That
And
could potentially be a nightmare for these guys in Vegas.
then you clean house, and that's not out of the question at all. Having all those 4 favorites go ahead and take care of business. I mean, I think 3 out of 4 for sure. I just, the only one I think is vulnerable and not that vulnerable is Penn State, just because I think SMU on their best day can beat Penn State. But I mean, you're talking about the other ones. I think Notre Dame gets there. Texas is going to get there. I think their defense is going to be just way too much for the Tennessee offense. It's going to be a good game, but Texas will get there. Line's a little high, but yeah, Ohio State too. Ohio State, I expect them to come out just pissed off. Everyone's talking about Ryan Day and all this stuff. They're a darn good team. They blew it against Michigan, but they're going to come out and defensively against Tennessee, I should say, Ohio State. They're going to give Tennessee some trouble. So yeah, all these favorites winning, and it's not like these money lines are that out of control. Plus or minus 300, 350, 400. You get 2 to 1 on them, not out of the question. And you're right, the sportsbooks can't defend it.
It's so wild because I could see Ohio State beat Oregon. I could see it. I could also see Ohio State lose to Tennessee.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
This
playoff is going to be wild. I don't know how many straight bets and total bets I'm going to be making on the games. We've got our Notre Dame bet. We can reassess after that. Anything on bowl season, and I'll lead in with a story and then let you take it wherever you want to take it, and then we'll say goodbye for now.
Yeah.
I've gotten many invites to bowl pools this year, as I always do. And usually I'm drooling at the thought of joining another pool. Dude, I don't know what the fuck is going to happen this year. I mean, we've already seen it in that UNLV Cal game, right? Where Barry Odom leaves UNLV, takes the head coaching job at Purdue. Cal goes from -1 to 4 to 4.5. Last week, Cal's head coach says the quarterback Mendoza will play and he will be back next year. This week, he enters the portal. So now the line went from 1 to 4.5, and now it's 4.5 to 1. I feel like we're going to see this all bowl season, where you're going to get info on a team, and the line's going to flutter, and then there's going to be that other shoe that drops. For the first time in my life, I am not excited to join bowl pools because I have no idea what's going to happen.
You have to take completely different angles in bowl season. It's just the way it is. You can't really look at power rankings. You got to peel the onion back and see who's leaving, who's there. There's tweets from players. I saw one today, and I forget what team it was, and I should have written it down. He said, "I'm going in the transfer portal, but I'll be there to support my boys." Does that mean he's playing? He's one of the defensive starters. Is he playing? Is he there to support him? Is he going to be in a hoodie on the sidelines? You just don't know. One thing, though, I will say that over the last couple seasons, teams without coaches, quote unquote, have done awful. So if you're looking at just, no point spreads and just looking at a pool or money line or just, just looking for straight winners, fading teams that don't have a coach, they all have coaches obviously, but whose coaches left has been a pretty good approach. But you see the lines move on those pretty quickly too. So if you're looking at point spread, maybe not, but for the pools and stuff, I think that's a safe approach. Teams that, have coaches that are taking off.
Yeah, and the other thing to think about, a lot of these pools, they're going to start relatively soon. Now, I don't know how many pools are going to have the Celebration Bowl in them on Saturday, but you're going to get these pool lines, and a lot of them are going to be stale by Monday or Tuesday. So if you have the ability to check these lines and see where they've moved, now you can't do it because they're locked in, and you got to make your picks, obviously, at a certain time. But there are some pools, actually, that I've been in where they allow you to pick the game, the specific island game, until kickoff, but the spread is locked in. So whoever runs the pool puts the lines out on December 14th or 15th and doesn't touch them. But you can toggle your picks until those games kick off. A lot of these websites allow you to do that. The point being, what if a team is -5 and then in the pool, you're able, well, not in the pool. If the pool is -5 and then the market is -10, like you could potentially beat some of these lines by 3, 4, 5 points.
Yeah, and you will get that. You will 100% get that on those. So I mean, it's going to take some work, though. I mean, if you hop in those pools and are deciding to do stuff at kickoff, it's going to take some work to monitor things and see where the lines go. But you're going to have several games that are going to have 3, 4, 5 point moves.
Any bets you've made in bowl season, and then we'll let you go. Anything yet?
Not quite yet, but what I am looking at, I like Navy, by the way. I like Navy to cover against Army. Army's defense is not good, man. Sixth worst in the nation over their last 3 games in yards per play allowed. Sixth worst. So they're bad defensive wise. And I think you were talking about the total there. Both of those defenses are not good. If that total stays under 40, I will be betting that. Also, I'm keeping an eye on Army versus Marshall. I want to see how that works out in their bowl game after the Navy stuff's taken care of. I'm really looking to attack Army in that game and bet them. But the other stuff, still looking, still really trying to catch up on who's staying, who's leaving, who's going to be there to support, who's not, stuff like that. So still haven't pulled the trigger on a lot of them, but it's coming.
Did you see this Army move today out to 16? And that's, of course, the report that Marshall might have the majority of its team enter the transfer portal. This line was 9.5 on Monday. It is now 15.5 in favor of Army. And honestly, it might not be high enough.
Take it. If 15, I'm all over it. Take it. Actually,
really?
Here. Oh yeah. Oh no. Army will. The academies, when they show up to bowl games, it's still all business for them. They want to give a good performance. They want to do well. Marshall, that's going to be a disaster. That's going to be a blowout. And I told you that without seeing that line move. I just noticed that, and I just had that in my notes to keep an eye. But now I'm going to have to jump on it because now the line's moved a lot. But
some
places
still all over that. Are asleep at 14.5. Others are 15.5 and 16. So
14.5. Terrible with the hook and the key number all over it. Doesn't matter.
That's Tommy Lorenzo. Please follow our guy on social at Sportsbook Tom, and the podcast covered the weekend. Appreciate you joining me today, and I know we'll talk again soon.
Absolutely, Sam. Good being with you, man. Take care.
All right, there goes Tommy Lorenzo. In comes Alex B. Smith from the Ice Guys. Ooh, caught you mid-shot. Ooh.
Oh, yeah, he did. A little bit of Jack Daniels ride this evening, so.
Oh, okay. I haven't partaken yet, but I will. That is an old school Blackhawks alternate sweater too. Is that like
that's right.
When Patrick Kane just joined the team?
Can you guess the player, number 39? He was
39? No.
Oh, Nikolai Habibulin.
Oh, of course. See, I got there in 10. He was already gone. No. I got there in, wait a minute. Who was the goal? Yeah, Niemi was there in 10.
Yeah, right.
So,
were you around when he came back in 2015? When he was 41 years old and played like 4 games?
I try to forget those days. It was like Jordan with the Wizards. Although not really.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah.
Like Jordan with the Wizards. Let me just give a quick update, and then I want to get your thoughts on a tweet. I did not prep you for this, so I can't wait to get raw, unfiltered Alex Smith, co-host of the Ice Guys, tremendous hockey show, live and podcasted with Ian Cameron. Quick check on this line. As we came on live with you, it was getting bet to 3 in Los Angeles and San Francisco tonight, and I'm seeing most places now at the full 3. Pinnacle juicing you to death on the favorite, -2.5, -124. Do not lay that.
No.
And a lot of 3 in the market, but a cheap 3 on San Francisco. I'm on money line, as you know. I did not make it a chicken dinner pick, but on BetQL Daily on Tuesday and Wednesday, Joe O and I were saying money line -130, -135. That number has gone. I need the Rams to lose. Do you have any bets tonight?
Nothing tonight. I do have Niners -2.5 in a couple of contests that I'm in. So, and yeah, I would like to see. I got a good buddy of mine who's a big Rams fan, so I wouldn't mind seeing the Rams go down to. I know you've been anti-Ramley for a while now, so it wouldn't mind seeing the Niners, especially in that couple of contests that I have, but nothing official bets wise, no.
Yeah, I played for the show Army Navy first half over 19.5. South Dakota -3.5. Now there was a push against South Dakota, as you can see the odds logic screen here, against UC Davis. Now this number opened 6.5, and there was a big push against South Dakota. But when I put these out about an hour and a half ago, there were a lot of 3.5s. That was sort of the floor, and now you see the pushback. You got books going back to 4 and 4.5. So I don't know that it's an old okey doke situation, but I do like South Dakota at a cheap price. Hell, I like them at 6, but when you started to see the move, it's like, let's wait this out, see how low it goes. So I did like South Dakota. Bills +2.5, Bucks +3, and I'm parlaying Kansas City and Carolina on the money line in the NFL at +145. I only wish I could be as good as this handicapper right here. Did you see this today, by the way? Did you peep this?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't see
Whoa.
this. Oh, okay.
No.
So according to ESPN PR,
Uh-huh.
Aaron Kate Dolan is 84, 38, and 1 all time with her NFL best bets. 84, 38, and 1, which is a staggering 68.8% in the NFL. What's your reaction to that?
I feel like we all would have been hearing about this a while back if she was hitting at a 68% clip. We would have been talking about this like for the last several months and be like, hey, you hear about Aaron just absolutely crushing it in the NFL? I hadn't seen that till right now, so I don't know.
There's so many ways to take this, and I'm going to be very careful here because the last time I said anything questionable about somebody in the space, I got painted as several things, which I'm not. That was when FanDuel said that Liv Moods was a winning sports bettor, and I posted the bet stamp that showed she was down 35 units, and it was,
Right.
You hate this and you hate that, and I'm not going there. But if she's been on the show since December 2021 and only given 84 and 38 and 1, like they're saying she's only given 123 bets in 3 whole years. I've watched the show where they give 5 or 6 bets. I just don't.
Right.
I don't understand.
I don't
If
know.
it's accurate,
Oh, that's
congrats.
incredible.
I
Hell
mean,
yeah.
she's the best gambler of all time in the NFL.
For the moment. Yeah.
84, 38, and 1. The
I
only
don't
problem
watch the
with
show.
this,
I don't know.
nor do I. I don't. I mean, it's obviously not sustainable. It's impossible to keep that up. I don't think this is a good thing, though, because now the expectations are unruly and impossible, right?
No, you just got to keep going at it. I mean, I think about with my show, the Ice Guys, we started that bargain bin segment out of a whim where we had to pick a player prop plus 300 or higher. And then we started cashing these things left and right, cashing sometimes plus 1,200, plus 1,500. And people kept demanding that we bring this thing every day. So when you bring the heat, you have to continue to bring the heat. That's the way I look at it.
But your ROI is more important than your record because you're betting. I mean, you could lose 5 of those bets and hit one at 8 to 1. You know, you're going to be 1 in 5, but you're going to be up. This is
right.
I'm assuming this is straight bets.
Sides and totals. That would be a hell of a run, or there's some cap involved. It's one or the other.
Well, all I will say is this: I will leave it to my friends at Circle Back. I will let them tackle this next week. Pizzola and Feinberg. I will let them handle it, and I am not going to incriminate myself. Okay, I know that you've been hardcore hockey your whole life, and you've been betting this sport. I'm so behind this year on hockey, so let me pull up the hockey tab. Did we get that? Oh, we haven't gotten a goal yet. Your bargain bin today was a Blackhawk defenseman to score a goal, right?
That's right. Kevin Korchinski got him at 12 to 1, 11 to 1, 12 to 1 was the price he was floating around everywhere. And there's only been 8 shots on goal total in that contest as of right now. So a little slow start in Long Island, but I think, like I said, with the way Anders Sorensen, the new Hawks coach, he's been wanting to get defensemen involved in the rush. That first game they came in, it was Alex Vlasic and Alec Martinez who ended up getting goals for the Hawks. So getting the defenseman to jump into the rush, taking extra shots, that's a good thing. And for Korchinski, young kid who's trying to be the next Brent Seabrook apparently for the Hawks in due time, it'd be nice to see him in that one tonight.
I am betting him right now at 14 to 1. Do we like that or do we love that?
That's good. That's fantastic.
All right. Yeah. I'm betting 14 to 1 on Korchinski live to score a goal. That was your bargain bin of the day, which is basically you finding a player down the board at a great price and making a bet. And you've hit a couple of these in the last week, including one I saw that was double-digit odds.
Yeah. Ian and I have actually, like I said, he literally brought this up last year, opening day. We didn't talk about this at all. He goes, "Hey, I got a new segment idea." We go, "Okay." And he's like, "Just have a player prop plus 300 or higher." I don't even bet player props that often. So I was literally just kind of pulling things out of thin air, being like, "Oh, let me see who's moving up and down the lineup or who's been on a hot streak," and then it just caught fire. So yeah, we've been cashing a lot of these, and like you said, they're anywhere between plus 300 to plus 400 to some of the higher ones. I cashed one last year that was 22 to 1. So it's been very profitable for us and all those who watch the show.
I told the boys on the Cape, I went down to the Cape in the playoffs, and they were looking for bets, as the boys often do. They're not watching hockey. They don't handicap hockey. And that was when you gave us, granted, a total luck box bet, but Jamie Benn to score the first goal of the playoff game at 14-1. This entire bar on the Cape had Jamie Benn to score the first goal.
Nice. Yeah, we've got a few of those.
Ice Guys right here. If you're watching live on YouTube and X, there's the show. You can subscribe as I do. They got over 1,000 videos, daily videos, and then into the playoffs, these guys are doing betcasts, what feels like every single day. So check out these guys. Alex is on social at AX Smith Sports, and then the Ice Guys, you can find their YouTube page at the Ice Guys. Okay, I know you got a couple bets in hockey, and then we're going to wrap this baby up. What's the play for the either 8 o'clock card or the late night card in hockey?
Yeah, we'll just go through the late cards. I know we were talking about the San Jose Sharks is one that I really like. I grabbed them at plus 180 to see where the numbers come down quite a bit actually now. And it's predicated on the St. Louis Blues have been really hot, especially since Jim Montgomery took over as the head coach. Now coming back home off of a road trip, this is always a kind of a tricky spot. And you've got a feisty San Jose team who, yes, they're still one of the 5 worst teams in the National Hockey League. They got Macklin Celebrini. Will Smith with another draft pick. He is out of the lineup, still dealing with injury. But they have a lot of young talent, and they finally have a goalie they can trust in Alexander Georgiev, who we saw how brutal the end of his run was in Colorado. But it was predicated on the fact that he was being treated like a Marty Brodeur, Patrick Waugh type. Like they were running him into the ground in Colorado, trying to start him literally every game. You can't do that in today's NHL. You have to have 2 quality goalies to play 1A, 1B. Now he's in a system with Vitek Vanacek. I think we're going to see a reemergence of his quality game. He's going to look more like he did when he was in the New York Rangers behind Shesterkin about a few seasons ago. So getting that at plus money still, I'm taking a shot at the San Jose Sharks. And I also like the draw in that Florida-Vancouver game. We've been seeing Vancouver going past regulation. 5 of the last 8 games gone past regulation. So you can get that plus 325 of the price I got at MGM earlier today. We'll go with the draw with Florida and Vancouver.
And I also saw you had a bet in Boston, Seattle. That was a first period bet, right?
Yes, that's the first period over, which you can grab it now. I know it's anywhere, in the pick'em range, minus 110 to even money. Me personally, I'll actually be waiting a couple minutes, tick by. You're looking for in game. That plus 100 or minus 105 will turn into plus 120, plus 125. So that'll be more of a live wager look for me. A couple minutes into the beginning of the game, jumping on that first period over with Bruins and Kraken.
Yeah, we hit that one on Tuesday night on the betcast for the Ice Guys. There were no goals in the first 10 minutes, and then there were 2 in the final 10. And I think both of those goals came in the final 6 minutes or so. That first period bet is such a freaking rush, man.
It is.
And then you can bet the second period if you want to.
Right. That's the beauty of it. It sets you up for other things to make along the way. So it's a pivotal thing. If you're live betting, being able to attack the first periods and then move forward from there, it's a good thing to have.
For anybody that hasn't made a future bet yet, I hate to put you on the spot again, like I did with the ESPN PR tweet.
Okay.
But in terms of futures, because a lot of people will enter the hockey market, and let's be real, this is how it works. NFL comes to an end early February. College winds down early January, and then the attention will shift. Some will go to college basketball. Some will go to the NBA. Some will go to hockey. For those that aren't going to make that pivot for at least another month or 2. Is there a bet for division, for conference, to hoist Lord Stanley? Is there anything worth poking right now? If no, it's cool. Maybe we can do an award or something else. I'm just curious because I'm so behind right now on hockey and you are so up to speed on it. I'm just curious if there's anything you've seen in the first few weeks of the season or the first 6 weeks of the season to make it actionable right now.
There's nothing major that really stands out. If there's any team that I'm kind of looking at, maybe be looking at the St. Louis Blues, as I talked about. Even though I'm fading them tonight, I do think they're a team. I had them plus 200 to make the playoffs at the beginning of the year, and that was kind of predicated on they had such a hot run under Drew Bannister. I wasn't expecting them to fire him, but also now you have Jim Montgomery, who was a Blues assistant. Of course, he had the tumultuous firing in Dallas, but before he got to Boston, he was an assistant with the Blues. They loved him there, and as soon as he was available, the Blues jumped all over and signed him long-term. I think there's a kind of reinvigorated feeling with that team. They've got a lot of veterans. This would be kind of their last stand with this core group of players. I think St. Louis has enough to where they could push and find their way into sneaking and grabbing one of those late wild card spots. And at plus 475 at MGM, so there's that plus 420 at FanDuel. I think those are some great prices. I would take a shot here with St. Louis to make the playoffs.
Yeah, bet a little to win a lot, and perceive value on a team that made the coaching change. I'll give them credit. Did it when they had to do it. Didn't wait all season like the Bears used to do. Get this guy out of here, and let's start to change the culture. Oh, John Massey weighing in. Problem with Boston was not Montgomery, just like it wasn't Cassidy.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Boston had a million other issues, and they won't be fixed with their new coach, Joe Sacco, either. They will have to figure things out long term. And more than likely, we're going to see the end of the Marchand era and the prime years of Boston possibly wasted with a rebuild. So.
Oh, well, they did. I remember the end of the Hawks era when they started just paying everybody. They paid like 6 guys $40 million. Yeah. They paid Panarin. They had already paid Kane, Taves, Keith, Seabrook, Crawford. And it's like, we don't have any more money.
Yeah. and then you pay Panarin. And then you pay Panarin, and then you trade him to Columbus for Brandon Saad, who can't score even if he has an empty net right in front of him. So, it's stressful.
Yeah, I know. I thought that team would be better this year, but still young. And now I'm already seeing that Connor Bedard potentially a bust, according to some people, which is just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no one's ever heard of a sophomore slump, apparently. So,
nope, not a thing. Not a thing to some people. Well, Alex, when's the next betcast, and where can people find it?
It'll be after the new year, and we will now start having 2 or more betcasts a month. So those who not only watch the Icecast but sign up to our Patreon page, it's $10 a month. You get all of our content that we do. So the rundown of all the plays that we have, which is a lot of them during the shows every day, but we also have bonus content and bonus videos as well. So we will have a betcast that is Patreon only, and we will also have one that is free to everyone on YouTube. Both of those will be starting after the new year. So follow us on YouTube at the Ice Guys, _Ice Guys on X, and follow me at AX Smith Sports on Twitter.
Well, cheers to you. And I'm hearing a rumor that we might link up in Chicago later this month. I'm hoping that it's going to happen.
I will be there. I will try to make time. It's always a hectic time whenever I go back home. But yes, hopefully we can link up and have a few drinks in person.
All right. That's Alex Smith. Good luck tonight, and good luck the rest of the way.
All right. See you.
All right. There goes Alex Smith. Again, Alex, tremendous hockey handicapper, and he's been on this show more than anybody I've ever had on the show. And the playoffs, nails. He is nails. All right, here are the bets again. Army, Navy, first half over 19.5. That'll be on Saturday. Also on Saturday, South Dakota -3.5. The Bills on Sunday +2.5. Buccaneers +3. And a parlay money line, Chiefs and the Panthers at +145. Thanks to Nick Kostos. Thanks to Tommy Lorenzo. Thanks to Alex Smith. And thanks to you. Got over 1,000 people watching right now on YouTube and X. We appreciate you making this a part of your Thursday night. I need the Niners to win tonight. Need it. I want the Rams dead and the Niners to win. Not that I'm biased or anything like that. I don't think this Rams team is all that it's cracked up to be. And now that I'm seeing people say that they could beat anybody, we'll see. We'll see if they can move the ball against a defense that gets Greenlaw back, Hufanga's back, Bosa's back. We'll see. We'll see how good they really are. We will be back next Thursday, same time, same place on YouTube, on X, 7:00 p.m. Eastern. Click the like button, subscribe to the show, the videos with Adam Chernoff and John Murray and Kenny White. And as always, cash your tickets, make some money, and we'll talk to you next time right here on Chicken Dinner.